Namaskar. Namaskar everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We are doing an IG live with Rita Date on What's Your Platter. I'm Shivani Gupta from hellomyyoga. So friends, Lancet report is out. Their medical journal is out. It says India is third obese country. India is third obese country. Sachi mein? Really? For a while it doesn't make any sense to me, but that's true. Around 70 million of senior adults is obese in India. 30 million kids 9 to 15 years of age, they are obese. I just can't believe it. India's civilization, the culture, we are obese. We have yoga, we have Ayurveda, we have what not. And still, not only that, friends, Instagram has a war of nutritionists. There's like so many things which are happening. Everybody is coming out speaking about food. I can see so many people doing fitness. Still, what is making that? What are the choices that we are making that we are going incorrect? We are still not able to be fit. Our ancient culture, like our ancestors, our parents, they never had these problems. Why we guys? So friends, I would like to tell you this entire IG live what was not to advocate or provide you recommendation in the food habits or the food choices, and that's why I didn't thought of getting Instagram influencer online, but a simple person who has been doing these kind of blogs, these kind of write-ups. She's a nutritionist and she's been doing it not of late but way before that. She has been raised in US. Her upbringing has been done in US. Then she got married and she moved to India. So she has seen both the worlds and she can talk about the balanced diet. In my perspective, in my point of view, she's the best person for us to have a discussion on this, because she's been writing about food not recently but since year 2013-14, I believe, because when I went to her blog is Real Food India, and that has dated blog on cornstarch in year 2014. So she is quite giving recommendation and advices quite some time. It's just that there was no Instagram at that point of time, so a lot of her things went unnoticed. Let me invite her. She's there already. She's a yoga practitioner, yoga instructor. She has her own yoga institute in Pune called the Breathing Room, and it's a beautiful place. If you would like to, hi Rita. Rita is already there. Hi Rita. I was just talking to my audience about you.
Thank you.
That how long time back you started writing about the entire food and the good food, the bad food, the healthy food, the unhealthy food, the food choices. You know what? While I was going through your blog, The Real Food India, I realized one of the yoga teacher, Dr. Ananda Bal Yogi Bhagnani, he's a yoga teacher from Pondicherry, and he has once quoted in one of our program on metabolic disorder that the power of choice is superpower of being you. So the power of choice is superpower of being you. At this point of time, when there's so much abundance in terms of choices, picking up the right choice is actually being you. So for that, you really need to have awareness and education about what we are having, because I realized that the recent report by Lancet, which says, okay, the adult population is obese because of the mobility issues, because of comorbidities, but about the teenagers, the kids who are in the age of 8 to 18, these young kids who will be our next youth, imagine they are 30 million population in that is obese. Where are we heading? Our Indian civilization has never those things. For us, the food was God. We used to pray before food. Food was healing. I still remember, and I have written it down. This beautiful quote: "Anna Brahma, Raso Vishnu," which means food is Brahma, and the ras, the essence in it, is Vishnu, and eat it like Mahadev, consume it like Mahadev. This is so beautiful. We have already description about food in our granths, in our Vedas, and this is how we are heading. So, yes. What is your concern? I have spoken a lot about it now, but since we have invited you on this chat, I wanted to know what is your concern about the country's health and how did you get involved in it? Because you are involved in it not as an Instagram influencer, a way before that. So,
Well,
how did it happen?
food is always an important part of my family. Growing up, my mom, somehow there was no nutrition education then, but she would always say that has no food value. And we would like kind of not understand her or ignore her. Fast forward to, I got married, came to India, like you mentioned. Fast forward to 2006, 7, 8. My son was ill, and he's fine now, but he had cholesterol. So we had to watch his cholesterol, among many other things. But cholesterol was one thing. So I had to really be careful of the food he ate. And I noticed that when I went to his school, and I noticed that, so many kids are overweight. I mean, I didn't, this 5 years ago, maybe I didn't notice it, or I didn't notice it when my daughter was in the same age. But I think, there was a shift by 2007. Things had shifted. And then I started researching this. I got a nutrition degree. I'm a trained journalist. I started writing on health for magazines and newspapers. I did a lot of research on obesity, because that's the reason that we are become unhealthy. I mean, because of the extra weight. Um, in right now there is a body positivity movement, and body shaming, but there's a fine line. I mean, I've been chubby all my life, but there's a fine line between body shaming, body positivity, and being healthy for weight, being a healthy weight rather. So I started writing about obesity. I did a lot of research in the US at the same time. Michelle Obama was trying to make obesity numbers were off the roof and continue to be. She made the plate, before we had the pyramid with the carbohydrates at the bottom, all that.
Yes.
Then she started making a plate, and she was one person. There was things like they were trying to reduce the amount of soda people were drinking by making a soda tax. That never went through. There was a few places that tried to do that, but at least there was discussion. There was like people started getting aware that what is all this sugar that we're putting in our body? Why did you know in India the amount of sugary sodas that kids are drinking from I think for over the 20 years has increased 300%. So that's shocking. uh, and I saw that, for example, supermarkets. Before there was few, then they got a little bigger. And now you have huge supermarkets, and you have huge sizes. And what companies do, and I want to emphasize that a lot of this is not our fault. It
Right.
is the fault of the companies. This is one example. You buy a biscuit for 10 rupees. Let's say you get 10 biscuits. Then, for 20 biscuits, they're selling it to you for 15 rupees. So
Right.
you think you're getting a value, right? Same with soda. Now, you never saw 2-liter bottles of soda. Bourbon biscuits. Now I can say, before I could not write about what was happening, because these companies are fueling the media. I mean, they're paying their advertisers.
Right.
So I cannot say, Pepsi does this or Maggie does this, because I was not allowed. So that's why I started Real Food India, my own blog, and there I would say anything I wanted. But you know that back then blogging was the thing, but it was hard to get people to read it.
Right.
In fact, I would like to say I wrote something on chocos. Okay, I wrote how I would try to get people to read food labels, and I would explain what it meant and whether you should eat it or not. And usually I never said, you know, it's really bad. Just eat it, you know, once a month or very
Yeah,
rarely.
there's always a soul food.
Yeah,
There's always a soul food. But now that soul food has become everyday's food.
that's the problem. That's the problem. You know, our taste buds have changed. No, I just finished this chocos thing. So I wrote this thing on chocos. I get a call from somebody in the US saying, "Where can I buy chocos?" I'm like, "Oh my God, am I getting am I what kind of information are people reading? They're not reading, they're just seeing the picture of chocos." But yes, going back to you know, our taste buds have changed, and it's not a bad thing. We are able to enjoy all different foods. But what kind of foods are we enjoying? You know, we're eating Italian, we're eating Chinese, we're eating Mediterranean. Let's go to China. Let's go to Italian food. Okay, how do Italians eat? They do not eat pasta and pizza, and you know that's it. They eat, you know, in courses. They eat a lot of vegetables with their pasta. They always have a salad or some vegetable dish. It's just rare that you know, that's an American thing, and that's why Americans have gotten obese, is because they just have pasta, and there's no this it's just not good for you. And
Rita,
the
we
type.
always had that concept, isn't it? We had thali, but we have switched thali to one bowl of pasta and one entire pan of pizza.
Yeah, yeah, that's the problem. So this is not happening once a week. This is happening quite often, and so we're substituting our whole wheat roti or a bajra or a bar with maida, with bread,
Yes.
and this has taken a big toll on our bodies. Even in the rural, we're not even talking about urban population. All over India, people are eating more biscuits, more bread, and that is causing a metabolic disorders. You would be surprised when I did the research for this. So my first book came out um, you know, in 2008, and talks about obesity and why you should cook at home. And
Can
when
you
I did
once again hold that book and ensure that it goes straight? Because before that, no, it's ulta. So can you make it upside down?
it like
Yes.
this.
Yes.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
sorry. Okay, yeah. It was correct. It was correct earlier. Yeah. Sorry.
No, no
Yeah.
problem. So when I wrote this book, you would not believe the urban area which had the highest rate of increasing obesity. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it was Delhi or Ahmedabad, but the fact is, it was Chennai.
Okay.
Okay, and everyone was shocked. You know, why Chennai? They have nice steamed foods and they have
Yes.
healthy food. But the fact is that they went from these steamed foods to, you know, rice-based foods that had very little wheat in their diet, to eating sandwiches and pasta and all even that
So
like
unfortunate.
made havoc in their bodies. Same thing is happening with like in Vietnam. I mean, in rural areas in Vietnam, they're used to eating rice noodles. They come to the city and start eating these kind of foods. Even though they're skinny, their rate of diabetes is going up. So all of these things were happening and are continue to happen. You know, unfortunately, from when I started this, not much has changed, and then obesity numbers have come out. But you know, I'm hoping that that awareness will improve. I have always said it's a war on obesity. I've always used the word that companies are infiltrating us, and that's a fact. You know, smoking has declined in the West, and um, they look for new markets, so they went to the East. So our rates have gone up. Same thing with these junk foods. A lot, you know, very few cereal. The consumption of these cereals gone down in the US. More people are eating yogurt and other things like that. So they're pushing it on India, and they're pushing it to China because they want to create a new habits in these kids, a new generation um, of different of eating habits. A
So
bad
it reminds me one thing. Israel, Tel Aviv is the largest vegan country, vegan consuming country. Can you imagine?
oh
I used to think it's Indians, but no, it's Israel. So
oh
that's how it is. That's how the food patterns, because people are now educated. But I just feel bad here because our civilization always had these hidden treasures and we were always following it as a lifestyle habits. And here everything has changed. Now, for an example, you talked about Chennai. If I talk about the dosa here in northern India, we get it with Szechuan sauce, we get it with a lot of cheese stuffed in it. Why we can't have a simple dosa? Why we are mixing things? There is a reason that our ancestors used to cook it that way. We have in Rajasthan a porridge made by jaw, and
mm,
this porridge is was actually consumed by farmers with buttermilk, with the reason that it has an element of cooling the body. So
mm,
that was the reason that it was had, like we were having it as it is, because of the weather, because of the seasonal food, because it used to support the local environment. That's how the food is eaten. We never used to consume food. The food which used to come on a platter was never consumed that way, that stuffing cheese in it and having it with Szechuan sauce. No, never.
I know. Unfortunately, we've gone away from all those things. Our ancient traditions, including yoga, have been proven to have so much science behind them, and food is just Ayurveda. I'm not saying you have to practice Ayurvedic everything, but there are so many principles that are so good for your health, and we should bring them back to. I know, like for example, like millet, but people are eating the millets, but they're still eating millet pizza or like
All right.
unhealthy behavior still goes on. They're just replacing maybe their roti with milk. And there are people who go overboard and are just organic. All organic. I'm not sure about organic food. The best food is to just eat mostly vegetables on your plate. And I know it's hard for kids when there's so many other temptations. But I just recently, I've just recently heard a podcast. Somebody was saying that Japan is the only wealthy country that has not gotten obese.
Yes.
And since is they train their kids to enjoy good food. If you ask, he asked the Japanese kids, do you like, what is your favorite food? One said broccoli, one said seaweed. Uh, so we have to bring back our good food. I mean,
I think on the
and
dinner table, if the parents are also eating and enjoying that meal with the kids, I'm sure that will set an example. It's just that we are
yeah,
so much into binge watching the screens while having meal that we have hardly forgotten that there was always a conversation on the dinner table. We used to talk about a lot of things while having dinner together. Dinner was always together. Like, yes, the breakfast and lunch, we are always busy with something or the other. But the mothers used to sit with their kids, used to have a conversation during the lunchtime and make them have meals. I still remember my mom used to do it. Even, you know how competitive I am. So my siblings and I used to have a lot of fight. But my mom used to take care we don't consume our lunch when we are sulky, when we are fighting. Because for her, she feels like the food creates energy, and energy is a currency of cells.
absolutely, yeah.
At a cellular level, energy is the currency. So and food manufactures that energy. So she used to say that the happy energy should go to each cell. So when you are happy, consume food then. And this is my habit still now, that I don't consume food when I'm sulky, depressed. I just stay away for sort out my mental health, and then I eat food. And also, the second thing is that, don't you think that we have started consuming a lot? our dinacharya was prepared to have 3 meals or 4 meals a day. But now this myth snacking is so much into our culture that these biscuits, these you know different foods which we have here and there, it has become a part of our meal, and that's why we are just destroying our agni, destroying our fire in the body, the metabolic fire.
Yes, we are eating all the time. Like when you're talking about how you used to eat with your family, um, food was always sacred. I remember like visiting my grandfather. We would never be able to eat anywhere, anytime. We would have only meals at the table, and he had an office space in the front of the house. We could never bring food out there. You don't eat in front of people. You invite them in to eat, or you just don't eat anytime, anywhere. And that is a good. Now we're eating in our cars. We're eating in the dabbas we take out in the office. I mean, at any time, anywhere, basically.
Come to
And
Gurgaon, you will see so many Tupperware in the car. People are consuming and driving.
yeah, so you know, a family that eats together stays together is a saying that popular, and it's true. You should be eating. You should be have a calm mind when you eat. It is a lot of energy, and that's one of the reasons we're eating too much is of stress. And what happens is we consume too much. So even if you're eating healthy food and consuming too much of it, it's not good. So how we eat is very important.
Right.
That's one of the things. I mean, I'm not pro intermittent fasting, but it did help with that pattern of eating all the time. So at least some gap eating. What's happening is but 5 o'clock the office goers are hungry because the lunch is usually, they carry a dabba or they eat out. And lunch is rather scanty in the sense you might have a roti and a sabji. There's very little protein, or it's not a full thali. So by 4 o'clock you're hungry, and the habit is to get some snack with the chai. If someone will order some vada pav or some chaat or something. So you get filled up on these calories that do not give you anything, and then you get home and you want to eat a little later, which is not good because you're not hungry, and then you eat less of the good food. Um,
We have lost you.
yes, you got me. I'm here.
Yes, yes, you are.
So yeah, so that's something I wanted to point out. So I urge in my book something called chota tiffin. Means
Oh,
a small
wow.
carry a small tiffin with you, a healthy snack. And if you are on the go and you cannot carry it, there's plenty of good things you could, like some things like chana, putana, like these snacks you can buy anywhere, rather than going and buying something on the cart. It's very tasty, but it's not going to help you in the long run. So I wanted to, Shivani, I wanted to point out, since I'm here, about companies, what they are trying to do, and you should be aware of it. Um, so all these foods have the perfect combination of fat, salt, and sugar. And right, so if you cannot eat just fat, you cannot eat just sugar or salt, but when they combine it, uh, it has made us addictive to the food, and there's been studies done on this and how it affects our brain and why we need to keep on eating it, and how it's difficult to stop. Like, for example, potato chips, you can't eat just one, right?
Right.
So that's one example. Same with like some sugary cakes or things like that. It's really difficult to stop. So I wanted to point out that these companies are doing it on purpose to get you to eat. So it's not always all your fault, but if you know this, then there's a way to help control it.
To help yourself. So before that, body awareness, self-realization, this has to happen. And then there is a step called controlling yourself,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yes.
So,
Awareness, most important thing, and that's what is needed at the moment.
Rita, be it your book What's in the Lunch, or be it Fighting Cancer with Thali. So and even in your blogs, I realized that you have focused a lot on office goers. So your target audience has been always office goers when it comes to nutrition, food. Why is that so?
Well, I think that's lunch is the meal that is eaten mostly outside the home
Mm-hmm.
by office goers, college students, etc. Office goers also, they're busy. I mean, this happened. I do correlate many things from the U.S. In the 1970s, women were getting into the workforce. 50s and 60s, they weren't there. So the same thing happened here, right? In the 1990s and beyond,
Mm-hmm.
women were in the workforce, and everybody was happy. They were earning money, but the things the cooking suffered, and it's not fair that the burden is on the woman. I read a quote that when a man comes home, a nice meal is ready for him. When a woman comes home from work, she has to start cooking this meal. So it has to be a collective effort, because if you do, women have to work for many reasons, maybe money, maybe self-fulfillment, career, whatever the reason. It's her choice, but we have to be supportive as a family and make choices, like having simple meals, or doing food preps on Sundays, or I mean on uh, accepting leftovers, cooking in batches. You have to make plans for your week, and so you can make. It is an effort, but it's an effort you have to take if you don't want to get diabetes and
But it's a
obesity.
healthy effort. It's
Yes,
a healthy effort. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's something we all have to do, for our own health. We're facing this battle every day of how to eat healthy,
Right.
eat our good Indian food. Indian food is laborious to make. So how do we? I write a lot about in the book, like hire a cook. I mean, many of us have cooks, but make better use of your cook.
Right.
um, if you want to have snacks, find a local person who makes snacks, someone you can rely on, who makes healthy snacks at home, so you can have those, and you don't have chips and other foods. So those small tips, I think we really need to incorporate as we go forward.
So, Rita, you have written a lot about packaged food and home food. But tell me, how about there's so much going on packaged curd? So, how do you see packaged curd as like on the table?
Well, um, I think firstly, if it's anything with sugar, you should not get it. There's a lot of very tasty mishti doi and strawberry flavored, mango flavored. Do not eat that. I mean, that there's lots of sugar in it, very little fruit, a lot of preservatives, because they have to keep, to make that, they need to add all these additives and preservatives. As far as regular curd goes, um, anything that is going to last on the shelf for, how long does it last? 3 weeks, 1 month?
Yeah.
There has to be something in it, okay? And curd is something very easy to make. Uh, I
Indeed.
think I think you told me, right? There's like a fridge that has a curd
Yeah,
drawer.
curd maker. So
Curd,
yes. So
yes.
yeah, I was telling Rita in my last conversation that friends, Samsung has a very nice curd maker. You just have to mix 1 spoon of previous curd um, in a warm, lukewarm milk, and just get a good foam by mixing it up, and then just put it in that box and insert that tray and set it in the refrigerator outside the door that you want a thick curd or you want a loose curd, and you just get it in after 7 to 8 hours, and it just blinks that your curd is ready, and here we go, have a meal on the table, the curd is ready. Yes.
Yeah,
So
that's the best things you can have. And
yes.
I recommend that you make your own, or get help making it. Have, maybe the kids can help you experiment once in a while. Just make your own. Put it in your microwave oven at night if you have a Samsung fridge, and make your own.
There's nothing better than homemade hot served meal rather than those Zomato and Swiggy people coming carrying their paper bags and plastic bags, food stuffed in it, and then you just open it and then half of the things are spilled or whatever it is. I think the home cooked served food on the table is always yummy. Is
Yeah,
always yummy.
yeah, it is. Invest in nice plates. Invest in the plates you like.
Yeah.
Uh, make it look nice. Anything. Um, when you go to a restaurant, that's what they do. So at home, you do that too. If that's what it takes for you to enjoy the food, make it a ritual with your family or just even on your own. If you're alone, this is a nice thing to do. Make a nice plate
We eat
and
from all
yeah,
senses.
eat from all senses. Like you said, your mom wouldn't allow you to have bad conversation,
No.
good energy. So it's nice to and try not to eat in front of the TV. I know it's very. I love watching Netflix and doing it once in a while, but you will savor the food longer. You will eat less. I guarantee you will eat less when you are not watching the TV, at least some of the time, and you'll really enjoy the taste of food more.
I agree. I completely agree. And to all the friends who are watching this IG Live and will be watching it later, I would like to tell you that if you are puzzled what to cook for your kids, some healthy meal, and what you can also enjoy, so I would like to tell on Hello My Yoga blogs, we have Rita Date's 30 days meal, a month long meal you can plan for your kids. It's like yummy, it's all homemade, and it's simple to make. It doesn't take a lot of time or rocket science objects. It's very simple. So my next question to Rita, to you is that tell me about your journey with Real Food India, your blog series, how it happened, what was the force behind it, how you sustain it. Because here on Instagram, we have a war of nutritionists. I always see that. Everybody's selling something. But at that point, and they volunteer it at times, not only to educate people, but they're also Instagram is or algorithm work in a way that you have to create so many reels. So everybody is spreading some kind of gyan. So I want to know that at that point of time when you started, there was nothing like that. What motivated you? What kept you going on? And still you are not there on Instagram so very well. I know you, and but something motivated you. Something might have motivated you to sustain it. What it was?
I just saw like people getting unhealthy. I mean, I talked about supermarkets. You know what else has increased is medical stores. How many medical stores are you seeing on your block right now?
Yeah.
How many hospitals, how many clinics, how many ultrasound clinics, and they're all full.
Right.
And there's a reason for this. It's what we are putting in our bodies. It's a lot to do with what we're eating and how we're not moving. That's another issue, I talk about. So I saw this and I was saddened by it, and I wanted to try to get people to understand that it's, read the food label, know what it is. Now, and then what really was getting me angry is now these companies realized that, people are a little bit interested in their health, so they started marketing things like oats biscuits, which had minuscule amount of oats, or Maggie has this taste to be healthy. I mean, there's nothing healthy about it. Uh, so many things are like that. Everything was labeled gluten free, as though gluten free is a healthy thing. So they were misrepresenting things. I think one of the drinks, I think it's Complan. If you drink this, you get taller or healthier or stronger. I mean, it's all lies. It's all pushing food onto you. It's all unhealthy marketing, unhealthy marketing tactics. That is, and who's suffering? I mean, we are suffering. The people are suffering, and something had to be done about this. I'd like to point out that all our heroes in this country were also promoting Pepsi
Right.
and chips. I Bollywood, cricket. They are the heroes of our country, and they have a
Right.
duty. Sorry to say, they have a duty. They have the power of really giving a message. And if this is the message they're giving, and I was really saddened by that. Somebody telling me Pepsi. So, they know who they are, and we know who they are. I don't have to say their names, but I just hope that people have a better sense. I hope that these people have a better sense as we're going forward. I mean, just look at our health numbers. Look at the people in the hospitals, the number of bariatric surgeries, the number of younger people getting heart attacks, getting diabetes. We need to take back our health, and that's why I started food India, and and published What's for Lunch.
That's beautiful. That's really beautiful. And in fact, when you said that the young people are getting heart attack, today itself we have a report by one of the senior cardiologists from Sir Gangaram Hospital in Delhi, that how the dysfunctional lipid is rising amongst youth, and that's the pure reason for getting heart attacks at age of 50. So that's a primary reason of getting heart attack at the age of 50, the dysfunctional lipid. So there's the medical terminology for this dysfunctional lipid. And it also mentioned that in Indian culture, the way the atmosphere, the stress level, we tend to have that lipid high. But it's by the food habits, it's by motivating yourself for the fitness, you can fix it. So my next concern is with you, with all these things, Rita. You can see there's newspaper which is writing about it, there's Instagram influencers which are writing about it, they're speaking about it, there's advocacy, a lot of things are happening. So you have worked way before that. How do you find the difference, what happened then and now? How do you see it? How do you see that the change?
Well, I think more just the fact that everybody's on Instagram right now. It's a much easier medium, and you don't have to read. Yes, people are just talking. Before, there were just blogs. I mean, there was YouTubes. I had made some YouTube videos, etc. But yeah, they were longer. It was you had to go there. Right now, everything's in your face, and you can choose who you want to listen to, and whether if you like health or somebody who's about nutrition or fitness, you choose what you like, or sometimes the algorithm knows what you like, and they tell you other influencers. So I hope that these influencers will take their influence and use it wisely. I know that there are a lot of good people out there, like Food Pharma is talking about reading labels, and people are always out there, eat this, eat that. But I think there has to be more on packaged foods. There has to be more information on packaged foods. Food Pharma is one person, but more has to be done on combating eating these foods. Period. There's a lot of influencers saying eat millet, this is good for you. Okay, that's nice, but nobody's saying don't eat pizza, don't eat the cereal. I mean, in a way that is holding these companies accountable.
Right.
Their advertising practices.
Right.
Kids are vulnerable. I mean, you if your McDonald's is saying come eat our food, you'll get a toy. Every kid wants to come.
Right.
If you're selling cereal with a toy in it, every kid will want that. And so we have to have some regulations.
I 100% agree with you. Absolutely, we need regulations, because we cannot be a gatekeeper. A parent cannot be a gatekeeper of information, where in this era, especially when there is an explosion of information, all kids are exposed to it. But in a country, how regulated the system can be, that has to be taken care of. Because if it is not taken care of, then our youth, they are in a really big danger. That's one thing.
Yeah.
Then
no.
And second is, and some simple approaches, some simple practices. At least if we can't expect from the corporates, the Indian companies, the Indian government sector, the Indian private companies, they should have to come out with some kind of setup that they help their employees in inculcating a lifestyle habits where they get that body awareness, where they get self-realization. Because going to the gym is not enough, or going to that workout practice is not enough. The cortisols, the stress hormones are also raising because of different issues. So a holistic, a wellness practice has to be taken care of. And maybe I always go back to yoga and Ayurveda because of that reason, because it reflects 8 dimension practice. The Ashtanga yoga, I don't see it as a hierarchy of the practice. That yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dhyan, dharana, samadhi. I don't see it that way. I always say that Ashtanga yoga, the 8 limbs is open in 8 ways. There are 8 gates for you to just adapt that lifestyle. The yama niyama can be the social practices, the personal practices. Asana can be physical practice. Pranayam can be physiological practice. Pratyahara can be, a mental practice. Then there can be intuitive practices. So it's an 8 dimension practice. By all the gates, by any of those gates, you have to make your choice and just join it. And here I always request the Indian corporates, the Indian government setup to regulate the system in a way that today's millennial can take an advantage of it, and the generation which is coming now can learn it from the ideal example of millennials. I I totally get motivated with this idea, and that's why we try to inculcate those habits. So at Hello My Yoga, we ensure that there is a breakfast time, and after that breakfast time only we have meetings. We don't have meetings and breakfast together. No.
Yeah.
Then we have a lunch pause for 1 hour. We don't have call and lunches together. No. We ask people to excuse us because we are having our lunch. And you have also seen that I take an excuse from you that I'm having my breakfast and then I'll get back to you. I have messaged you so many times. And in the evening, we tend to leave early because we want to make sure that people first relax and then they have their dinners. So these are like simple habits which I think the entrepreneurs, with the corporates, because these are simple approaches. Here, Rita and I have not joined you to advocate about you to pick the choices, but to make those simple changes in your lifestyle, which helps you, your family, your kids in holistic wellness. So, my last question to you, Rita. You're now a yoga teacher.
Something about the corporates. I'd like to say something about the corporates.
Yeah, sure.
So we're talking about corporates. So what many corporates do, many software companies do, is they want to keep their employees on campus. So they have snacks. Okay. I have seen this. They have in Pune. They have bakarwadi and chuda and some biscuits. Those are the snacks that they are giving to their employees. Now, let's start there. I would like to tell the corporates to start there. Start giving healthier snacks, if at all you want to give snacks. And why do you want your employees to stay? I mean, you should not. There should be a finite time for work. Yes, right. That's one thing. And then, for example, these companies like boast that they no smoking on their campus. Everybody goes out into the street and smokes and litters the streets, and they go and eat on the carts because they don't allow the junk food inside. But then there's a whole market of unhealthy kache dabli and carts made outside. A cow gully comes near offices. Literally, cow gullies are there to cater to these people. So I think corporates should start with in their own house, giving better foods and giving better working conditions, so people can break to eat, go home at a regular time, etc. So
I think always a healthy food can be yummy food and can look good. It's just that you have to invest in it.
Yes. So we had a nutritionist at one company. We worked with her. They used to give only vada pav and some other snack for people who stayed after 7 p.m. So we hired this person to come up with healthier snacks. And then when you're feeding 1,000+ people, it can't be expensive either. It should be something cost effective. So she came up with the good foods, and we found places where you could get it made whatever, Thali Peat, or I don't remember, healthy sandwich, or things like that. So that you can work on this, and I encourage corporates to do that for their own employees' health. I mean, this is our workforce, okay? The youth. India is known for their youthful workforce. You know, that's our advantage. That's our gold.
Yes.
So we keep them healthy long term, and so we keep that in mind. Yeah.
I actually agree with you on this, and I always feel that Indian food cannot be expensive. Indian food cannot be expensive. Can you imagine poha? That looks so yummy. That looks a simple food, and it cannot be expensive. And it's just that you have to add some sprinkle some pomegranates on it, something on it, and you make it a complete meal, isn't
Yeah.
it, Rita?
High
So
in fiber. High in fiber. If you add a little peanuts, you get some protein. It's a complete meal.
it's a complete meal.
Yeah,
So
it's
yes,
and
so Indian food is not expensive. It's just that we have to put our heads right now, and it's time, and it's a calling now. The recent Lancet report is saying everything. Uh, it's a calling now that we switch to something which is sustainable model. And now my last question, because it's already 11:45. I convinced you for a 30 minutes talk, but with you, it's always like I want to keep going on. But here I'll be wrapping this with one last question, that you had a journey. So you are now a yoga teacher and a studio owner, previously a nutritionist. So how all these things, what made you to pick this kind of thing as a career choice?
well, I as soon as I came to India, I wanted to do yoga in 92. So I explored many things, and luckily I was in Pune. I went to the Iyengar Institute for some years, and I did a lot of exploration on my own. I think after I wrote my first book, I decided that I just wanted to do it full time. So I got my teacher training and started teaching, and I realized that I did a lot of yoga from all over the place, and I wanted to offer that to people. I didn't want them to struggle like I did, in the sense finding the right yoga for them. So my studio, the breathing room here in Pune, offers all types of yoga. This is only one yoga, Hatha yoga from Patanjali. I mean, this is only one yoga. It's just modern yoga has just developed in a big industry where there's so many types, etc. So let people come and explore. They can take any they want, and
Why not?
yeah, and see what resonates with them. The idea is to just start and find something that you know you can stick with and will be part of your lifestyle, because yoga needs to be part of our lifestyle. We'll have this conversation at another time, but we're just not moving enough. We're not moving enough, and that is also causing all these metabolic disorders. And, if I can get anyone into the studio in any way to move, I'm happy. So
Ah, wow. A commitment to the society. Earlier as a nutritionist, now as a yoga studio owner. That's so wonderful. But to all my friends who are listening to us, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you, Rita, for joining us. But I would like to add one thing, that, as I said in the previous discussion, that this yoga has 8 gates, what I identify as 8 gates. So I know there's obesity because of food habits, but not only that, there is stress eating as well, which Rita has highlighted during this conversation. So we have to work on physiological health, physical health, and mental health. There are these 3 pillars on which we have to work. At Hello My Yoga, we keep doing different digital programs and different physical events. Our upcoming next physical event at the Breathing Room Pune is Shunya. It works on cortisol. It works to drop down that stress level. And that stress level can be dropped down when we release all these attachments, when we shut ourselves. So this entire program has been created. It's a 6 hours program spread in 2 days on 10th and 11th August, where 3 different teachers from 3 different traditional schools will get you an experience, a unique experience to work on your mental health. And this is a need of our friends. This is a need of our. So join us in Pune at the breathing room at Rita Date space. It's a beautiful place. Come to experience the space, the teacher, and the practice. Thank you so much, everyone, and thank you so much, Rita, for joining us today. It's
Thank
always wonderful talking to you. And I'm so sorry we committed for 30 minutes, but we selfishly expanded it for another 15 minutes. Thank you so much.
Thanks, hellomyyoga.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.